You've probably heard this quote: the physique is built 90% in the kitchen and 10% in the gym. Now that's a quote that I would vehemently disagree with. And the reason I would vehemently disagree with that quote is you can cut back the calories all you want. You can have the best nutrition all you want. You can skim back all the little fats on your body, but at the end of the day, if you have not trained adequately, you have not took the body to extreme measures to force adaptation to put on the muscle in the first place, you will never obtain your dream physique, whatever that might be. No matter the field of training, be it bodybuilding, powerlifting, strongman, endurance training, there has to be an element where the training goes hand in hand with the nutrition. So I'm going to redefine that quote. I'm going to say it's 50% in the kitchen, 50% in the gym. And this brings us on to today's topic: how to program your training. Now this is going to be broken into 3 aspects. The first aspect we're going to be looking at are your goals. What are your goals? And be honest with yourself. What do you want to get out of your training? Is it to be stronger? Is it to do a powerlifting competition? Is it to do a bodybuilding competition? Is it just to lose fat? Is it to gain muscle? Be honest with yourself what the goal is, what the intentions are, and I promise you, you'll reach those goals a lot faster when you're more honest with yourself. And then the second thing would be your setup / execution. That would be what the program's going to be, what you're going to do to achieve those goals, and how you're going to execute it. And then the last thing finally would be recovery. How do you recover from that training to which you're going to stimulate your body, and how you can move on for over periods of months and months and months, get the desired result. Now, as I always say in all my videos, please don't forget to like, subscribe, because I'm so fucking desperate. Now that's out of the way, let's look into it. So I do think training is so important, and it is such an important aspect. So let's look at the first thing, your goals. What are your goals? And you need to be honest. So what are your goals going in? Okay? So right now, I want you to ask yourself while you're watching this video, what are my training goals? What am I looking to get out of this? I'll give you 4 seconds there. Okay, so you've got that goal in mind, good. So I'm going to assume from the get-go, let's give one example. Your goal is to put more muscle on and look better with your top off. You want to look good naked. So your goal is physique. So you've adapted that goal. You know what your goal is going to be. So hypothetical man or hypothetical woman wants to look better naked. That's a fine goal to have, and that's perfectly fine. And there's nothing to worry about in terms of if you're worried about people think you're going to look vain or not or whatever. That's your goal, and your goal's personal to yourself. Great. So once you've been honest with yourself and adapted what your goal actually is, you're going to be able to actually hit that goal much easier when you're honest with yourself, so that you can go out of your way and adapt your training and design it around that specific goal. So the second part of that is your plan, your setup, and your execution. How are you going to do that? So there are many different training modules and programs you can go for. Now, what I would encourage is having a coach does really take a lot of the groundwork out, and you can save years and years of trial and error. But sometimes the trial and error is actually good if you have that time and you're passionate about it. So let's say your plan or your goal is physique, right? So we want to see what do I need to do program wise to get that. Well, first of all, you're going to need to have to dedicate your training around hypertrophy. Hypertrophy, I can't even speak. Meaning the reps need to be somewhat adequate to get that desired effect on the muscle. So hypertrophy, I can't speak tonight. Am I having a stroke? Hypertrophy is going to be the range and the rep limit to which you're going to be able to build muscle. Now, if you train on shorter rep ranges, be it 1 to 5 or 1 to 4, arguably these are not really going to give that desired effect. These are going to get you strong, but they're not really going to actually be able to, for your body to actually generate muscle, and that's what you're wanting for. You're wanting that viewpoint, that image. So for the hypertrophy gains, anything between really 6 to 30 is variable. You can have high volume that will work, medium volume will work, and low volume will also work. Whatever that approach may be for yourself is very individual, what way you prefer to train. Now, that will be also dictated around your recovery, but which we'll get into that. Now, how you execute these things, how many days you train, how many days you don't train. What I would suggest is right now you're probably walking into the gym, if we're talking about beginners, and you're probably looking around and bunching into every machine, doing a bit of cardio, then bunching to the chest machine, then the pull machine, and the leg machines. What I would start to suggest is have a plan in mind, okay? So if it's full body is a fine program to start with if you're a beginner. You're going to think to yourself going, okay, so I've done that leg extension, I know how to do that. I'm going to try to rinse as much out of that leg extension as I can. So if it's one set, for beginners, one set is all it takes. Generate as much intensity into that one set, whatever the weight is in the rep. Say it's a heavy weight and you manage to get a grueling 11. Great, well done. Write it down and make sure you logbook, and everything needs to be logbook. That's one of the main ways I think it's one of the absolutes that I would argue with that's going to be a good indicator if you're getting stronger, but it's not something that's definitely required. You logbook everything, that was 11. The next day you come in, or the next session, you try to get 12, or you try to put a kilo under that. Adaptation. Whatever the program is and whatever the training approach is, it doesn't matter what you decide to do. The main thing is adaptation. You need to be adapting. If you're adapting, your muscles are growing and your muscles are stimulating. So the final one leads us on to recovery. It's all being well having your program and being able to train. However, the main thing you need to be considering is, can I recover from this training? Now, recovery isn't just feeling sore. It isn't just the fact of, oh, okay, well, it's okay, I may feel a bit sore, but I'm hardcore, I can still carry on. Recovery is growth. If your body is not adequately recovering, you will not grow. And this is a very important aspect. Yes, recovery also takes into consideration if you feel sore the next day, but that is going to be part of the growth process. If your body is still broke days and days later, that's telling me that your muscles are not stimulating and not actually growing to the additional load and stimulus that you give them from the previous session, meaning something's wrong. Something's wrong in the recovery process, meaning the muscles cannot grow back bigger. So if that's the case, you need to pay attention to recovery. This is fine tuning, this is where a coach comes in quite well. So you need to find out that going, if you train legs on a Monday and then you're trying to do it on a Wednesday again, are your legs still sore? Can you actually effectively train on Wednesday? Maybe not. So this is going to affect, and also it's going to affect your frequency, right? Because the more times we can hit body parts throughout the week, the more growth we're going to get overall in the period of a week. So say someone's hitting legs 3 times a week, their legs are growing 3 times, opposed to someone that's only hitting it once, right? So the 3 most important aspects is, be honest with yourself, find the goal. Whatever the goal is, pick the goal, stick with it. 2, find the plan and the execution that works for you, that's also comparable and relative to your goal. And then 3, pay close attention to recovery, because you will not be able to A, successfully meet your goals, and B, successfully adhere to your programs and plans and execution if your recovery is out of sync. That needs to link in. So that's a quick thing on training anyway. Please, if you have any training questions or program issues, please comment them below and I'll try my best to get to them, because I know the new year, a lot of people's going to be in and out of the gym. You're probably confused, not knowing what to do. I'll try to help you best I can. Treat me as a personal coach for this video. Comment anything and many questions you have and I'll answer them. Anyway, till the next time, I've been Carl from the Oxden. I'll catch you in the next one.